This is IBM Museum. I'm going to jump right into running SIT, the System Information Tool, on a PS2 Model 70. And this is what they call the AXX version, or the 25 megahertz Model 70 that has the a little CPU daughter card above the main planar. And it's even got a cache. We're going to see what this tells us. I've also lit the heater behind me. Now, if you do see a little bit more of an orange glow than there should be, please just start screaming. Let me know. This isn't a live video, I know, but and then earlier viewers that you did see the orange glow of my Cheeto fingers as well. And sorry, these stains just don't come off your fingers real easy. But let's jump right in. And I want to go through, I want to address the things that the Model 70 shows, the information. And I'm going to use this video as well. In the description, I'll post where finally get that system information tool online so others can have access to it and look through running it on their system. But let's jump right in. I don't think that this system is loading a mouse driver, but we'll find out. I'm just going to use the keyboard keys as I normally do. And I hope I have everything sized appropriately here as well. Okay, adapter information. Since this is a microchannel system, we have our dual async adapter. And this does, and we clearly do have a mouse driver because they're getting that block cursor on the screen, kind of not showing things. And this shows an interesting aspect too. Besides the real common 02F8 IO address, and I apologize that it's blocked out there as far as, in fact, let me see if I can just briefly. Okay, it's port number 2. And then port number 3, that shows the, I'm just going to move the mouse off the position of where it's at. Well, I'm also off the screen. And as I was saying, what's interesting for that second port is the microchannel aspect of that I/O port, and that's those are defined I/O port sayings with microchannel. It can go and have those nice port addresses that are a lot bigger and allows a lot more serial ports to be connected on to a system, a PC system, rather than just like a basic 4, and recognizes fully. So, and no adapter present on that 32-bit microchannel slot in the middle. And we've got our diskette adapter A, and it identifies there as the 1.2 M for the megabyte of what that diskette adapter A is capable of. And just gives some information such as the POS ID of that card, or what ADF it uses. And then I wonder if I want to go through. Okay, subaddress FF. I was looking to see, because it's in the ADF, there's not really a adjustable I/O address, and it's of these diskette adapter A's. It's of the notion that there can only be one of these adapters installed on the PS2 system, because otherwise you do have conflicts. You're not able to have two of these adapters in there without any conflicts. Okay. Disk information. Okay, disk by drive letter, drive C. And that's a 60 megabyte DBA ESDI drive. I have in there. And as I say, I transplanted that over from a 55SX temporarily to kind of run through the installation of that diskette adapter A software. 60 million bytes. You don't typically see it expressed like that anymore with us in our humongous drive sizes. Okay, partition table. And again, I don't know why it really shows us 0 KB unallocated partition sorts of things. Maybe when we encounter a system with a PS2 with more drives, will. Okay. And that's interesting. I've got that software loaded. I've got the 4869 drive still powered up and connected. I don't know why. I don't know why it didn't show that among the disk information. And again, maybe that has a later version of the driver software that's loaded in that config sys that actually goes through and identifies it more to utilities like sit to show what it is, but that's just really unusual that it's doesn't identify system is not supported. So the MAL 70 is still a little bit early for some of the things that we saw later on, like even on the 25SX, as it was showing all the memory positions and memory modules that you could have on the system and things like that. So still some pretty basic stuff. And we just have 8 megabytes of RAM memory on the planar in this case, and not any additional adapters with. Okay, I was pressing shift instead of enter. Extended BIOS data areas allocated. Microchannel bus. DMA supports 16-bit address space. And this is a MAL 70, and just like the MAL 80, we may encounter that as a particular issue with some of the memory adapters that we install and how the chips are kind of limited on the MAL 70 for the DMA transfers. Okay, keyboard functionality, return POS data supported, return memory map call supported, enable disable processor functions call supported. That's something else that we want. Okay, so that is supported on this MAL 70. And a lot of time that processor functions call supported, that can be relating to the L2 cache as well on whether it is able to turn off cache or whatever. And there's an interrupt call that in particular, and that might be interesting, kind of running through on that unit to see what that tells us. 8042 keyboard controller and system. Data stream unsupported. Still an older PS2. SCSI subsystem not present. System board. Kind of knew that. Information panel not installed. We knew that. Not an IML system. SCSI support is not in the IML image. And I'm thinking the next one for the system information tool will be my model 85X. And as I say, that has an information panel on it. Maybe one of the only ones in the world. Since there was a Tomas on the news group figured out that could be supported, and we kind of confirmed that it has all the driver electronics on the Model 85X model, but not the Model 85KN model. And when I say that, and this will probably might be the IBM mouse driver, might be third party. I did have that. I think I had a separate mouse directory on this, so who knows. But yeah, talking about letters, the X, that means a 46 well, DX33, correct. Well, let's see. No, because that'd be the K model, and then the KN is the DX33 or DX266 megahertz. Did we look at operating system PC DOS version 5? I get Hemin and Han here. But the X and K/N, ultimately that means the processor on those late model PS2s, and that's how it's defined, of them being different planers and everything else of what they can run. Okay, so IBM PS2 Model 70, 386 processor, speed, which we still think is kind of canned with the system information tool of just it reporting a hard-coded value based on the model that it's running on, this 25 megahertz. I do have a coprocessor on this, 387, and that's on that CPU data card. It's right underneath the B drive, and I don't really know how visible that well from the front view, like I had the webcam worked up. Probably not. External cache present. So it's got an L2 cache on that little CPU data card. BIOS model is F8 because it's a 386 or above. That's what IBM did for encompassing the many models that have at least a 386SX or 386DX and above. Didn't really further define that from there. Submodel 0D. BIOS revision 01. So there was an initial BIOS revision before this, because they'll start being numbered from 0. And I think SIT should identify it that way as well. And then could have been later BIOS revisions of that as well. And the BIOS ROM date of February the 20th, 1989. And the planar ID or system board POS ID of F9FF. And that's rather expected as well. Okay. Parallel and serial port. So this is picking up that one parallel port on the system planar, one of the serial ports of the planar, and the other two being on that microchannel adapter that's in slot 1. Okay. And we shouldn't have any SCSI present. Video is just still basic VGA. Okay, that's a quick run through of the system information tool. And as I say, I'll be getting that utility up online. I'll provide a link in the video description for where I have that. And we saw that earlier. And I was kind of interested in that planar ID. I think that was just a little basic thing that I ran through. But I do want to see, and this is how you get into ROM basic otherwise from DOS. Basic or advanced basic is basic A. Gives a little bit more. And we are in, let's do a screen 1. Give that 40 column mode again. We're going to do F3. We're going to load. And we're going to go with, and let's just turn on the caps lock key. And for this ROM basic, it actually, capitalization doesn't matter in ROM basic. Okay. Just get my insert going on there, because I do had to specify a drive locations where that thing is. Okay, and gave us okay. Let's list that. Yeah, it has to be something I typed in on the 55SX just to kind of run through. I was probably trying to figure out the planar ID of the 55LS model. And we see the same POS ID of the system board, or planar. The planar ID being F9FF. And that's the little basic code. Yeah, it really doesn't, it's kind of off the screen of some of that code. But that is that little thing in there. Just me quickly trying to do that. And system, if you've gotten into ROM Basic, and this is not from where the system boots up, didn't find bootable drives, either diskette or hard drives, and drops you into ROM Basic, you're not going to be able to get out. But if you entered ROM Basic from DOS, you can do system to get back out to DOS. So that was running through the system information tool a little bit, and a little bit more there. Look for that link in the description file. But if you like this video, go ahead and click on the like button. I'm sure we're going to get into some a little bit more involved instances where system information tool tells us more of these on these later PS2s. That'll be a little bit more informative. It's a little bit boring on the early models of the PS2s, that it can't report certain values, things like that. But please subscribe to my channel. There's going to be much more content. It's even the second video of the day that I've gotten out, so it's been a good day. But that's all I have for now. This is IBM Museum. Thank you.